Hey, so had a question from one of our badminton mastery clients about contact point, specifically for the overhead. So where do we want to contact the shuttle to sort of maximize power, consistency, all these things, right? So one of the problems that we were seeing in his stroke was that he was contacting the shuttle too much beside his body. So he was end up kind of coming around the shuttle and beside the shuttle, as well as sort of what I call chicken winging the stroke. So everything looked good in the preparation, right? He was loading that back foot. We're getting those hips rotating in, the elbows coming up, but then we're contacting outside the body, so outside this way. And in order to get power, we were getting that pronation, we were coming in here. So we weren't getting a lot of power through the shuttle, but we also don't have a lot of options from here. It's very hard to do a lot with the shuttle. And we were losing a lot of power. So what we want is that contact point more above the body as well as in front. So I don't want to contact right above the shoulder if I'm smashing. I want to contact more in front so I can get my weight, my momentum, my arm extension, everything into the shuttle, right? I want that extension all the way through the shuttle. So we were just talking about how to work on that. So one of the easy ways that we can work on that is we can come next to a wall. We're going to pretend that there's a net in front of us here. I'm going to go into my preparation, and I'm going to go slow motion through the stroke, not hitting the wall, right? So I want to end contacting the shuttle up in front here, but at no point do I want my racket to hit the wall. If I'm hitting the wall, I'm too far beside me. And we can get closer and closer to the wall depending on our shoulder mobility and how we want to contact the shuttle. We don't want to be like right above where our arm is touching our ear. That's not a sort of ideal place for most people's shoulder. But we do want pretty much as far above the shoulder as we can. We don't want to be too much beside ourselves, right? We want to be up here. So we can come next to this wall, get into our prep position here, and then just slow motion go through the stroke so we can get those hips turning, get that elbow up, get that extension, that snap all the way through without touching the wall. This makes sure that we have a nice stroke that's going straight. We're not losing any power through sort of windshield wipering the shuttle or swiping the shuttle either direction. We're contacting nice and in front, as well as like above the shoulder as much as possible, and not sort of losing out. Then we can do a similar thing, probably preferably without the racket. If we want to try to make sure that we want to contact the shuttle in front of us, we can face the wall here, get into our prep position, and we'll come through, make sure we're pronating, and we'll pronate and slap the wall in front. So because my non-racket foot is in front of me, if I touch the wall here, that's sort of my smash contact point, right? So I can go through, make sure I snap. If you want to do this very slow motion with a racket, you can. Just make sure you don't swing hard, you'll break your racket. But you can go through slow motion here and go through and make sure that's your contact. It's also nice to see, make sure your racket's flat. If when you touch, your racket's angled, so you're hitting one side of the racket or the other, then you know that you're not hitting with a flat racket on the shuttle. So maybe you're slicing this way or slicing this way. So this is another good way to sort of just make sure that through my contact, I'm coming nice and flat all the way through the stroke. So that's a really easy way to practice it. We can also just practice just by shadow stroke. Just make sure we stop where we want to contact the shuttle and look to see how we are positioned, where our racket is in comparison to ourselves, stuff like that. So I could start here and just come up and just say, okay, this is where I want to contact the shuttle. Where is it in comparison to me? Okay, it's above the shoulder, great. My arm is extended, great. But if I do the same thing and I notice, oh, my elbow is beside me, my racket strings are facing the wrong direction, my elbow's still bent where I'm sort of snapping, okay, I'm not getting maximum power, I'm not getting maximum control, right? So here, Okay, perfect. Got my arm extended, got the snap, my strings are facing forward. Perfect, right? But we could go similar and say, oh, okay, I got the arm extension, great. Racket's in front. Oh, but look at the racket face. I'm slicing, right? So then we can sort of readjust, find that sweet spot, and try again. Okay, that's better, right? So we can sort of self-adjust that way without the pressure of having the shuttle. Gives us a good ability to sort of self-regulate and figure out exactly how we want to hit. We can practice with the wall. We can practice with the wall here. And then we can just practice with shadow strokes. But that all sort of helps us develop a really nice contact point, make sure that we're actually maximizing our stroke, getting as much power and control as possible out of it. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Cheers.